What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, according to legendary promoter, top ranked CEO Bob Arum, he states that the mandatory showdown between undefeated, unified, WBA, WBO, IBF, Ring Magazine, franchise, lightweight, world champion, superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez, and his IBF mandatory, undefeated, Australian superstar title contender George Kambosos Jr. has hit a snag as he states that George Kambosos Jr. manager and team is looking for too much money, not being realistic. And he says that on the flip side of that, Teofimo Lopez and his team and his management are looking for too much money as well. So he states that neither side is being realistic. And we know that Teofimo Lopez essentially truly doesn't want this fight with George Kambosos Jr., but it's his IBF mandatory challenge. And the IBF has informed Teofimo Lopez that if he indeed did not honor this, he will be stripped of his title. George Kambosos Jr. is 19-0, 10 by way of knockout. He's 27 years of age, stands at 5'9.5", nearly 5'10", with a 68-inch arm reach. Okay, so George Kambosos is a superstar in Australia. With that said, he's looking to capitalize on his opportunity, but he also wants to get paid handsomely for his services, right? So he doesn't want to be shortchanged in this situation. But Bob Arum is stating that nobody's being realistic because we still are in a global pandemic and nobody's identifying that, right? So Bob Arum is stating that everybody needs to get on board and get realistic. Teofimo Lopez, 16-0, 12 wins by way of knockout. He's 23 years of age. He stands at 5'8", with a 68.5-inch arm reach. Okay, he just recently defeated three-division world champion, former Olympic two-time gold medalist, former unified lightweight champion, Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko. That took place October 17th. He defeated him via unanimous decision victory. Okay, so Bob Arum is saying that now, because Teofimo Lopez and his team are not being realistic, and neither is George Kambosos Jr. and his team, that he's going to allow it to go to a purse bid. Bob Arum stated that we are still in a global pandemic, and it seems like that is escaping everybody's reality. And so he said that this is not a massive fight. This is not a mega fight. This is not, a legendary fight. So for the money that both teams are looking for, they're not being realistic. He said this is an ordinary fight that should take place on ordinary TV. But, it's a mandatory position for Teofimo Lopez. He has no choice as the IBF is looking to uphold their their rules, right? You got to face their mandatory challenger within a certain time frame. So Bob Arum says it's not that type of fight. So he stated that, he indeed is going to allow it to go to a purse bid. The fight of this magnitude, this is the way you handle it. This is the way you let it work itself out. And then you take it from there, okay? Bob Arum is going to have this fight in the bubble in Las Vegas due to this pandemic and due to there not being any fans to allowed to attend live, in person, okay? So Bob Arum, he says that, everybody's understanding that the times that we're in. He states that Al Heyman understands, Oscar De La Hoya understands, Eddie Hearn understands. He says that's why all of these guys are dragging their feet. Because they understand that they need the influx of fans, participation live for the live gates to be able to pay the purses for these massive events that everybody wants to stage. He says that this is a situation that nobody saw coming. And so due to that, everybody has to understand and identify the times that we're in and respect that and move accordingly. So he says that George Kambosos Jr. is not he and his team are not respecting it, and neither is Teofimo Lopez. Now we know Bob Arum, he had issues with negotiating with Teofimo Lopez for the Vasil Lomachenko fight because Teofimo Lopez, he wanted to get paid the same, if not equal amount of value of Vasil Lomachenko, but he hasn't been accomplished and proven as Lomachenko was. So he ended up getting 1.5 to 1.7 million dollars for the fight with Vasyl Lomachenko, and Lomachenko stood to make $2.5 million for that fight. Okay, there's no fans in attendance, so there's no live gates. At least where Bob Arum is staging the fights, okay? Because Bob Arum could essentially move the fights, but I believe that he has a deal in place with these venues, the MGM in Las Vegas, where it's in a bubble setting. But we know that Errol Spence Jr., he fought Danny Garcia, in AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and 16,000 fans were allowed to attend. We know Canelo Alvarez, he fought Caleb Smith, and he had 13,000 fans in attendance. We know Ryan Garcia, he fought against Luke Campbell, and he had about 8,000 fans in attendance. We know Gervonta Tank Davis fought Leo Santa Cruz Halloween, and he had about 9,000 to 10,000 fans in attendance. So there is locations that you can have fans attend, but it will have to be moved from Las Vegas to Texas or Florida, okay? So with that said, Bob Arum is not willing to do so. Bob Arum wants to have it where he has a deal in place, and he believes it's just more safe, right? He believes that you can control the atmosphere better, and it's just better overall. You're not risking the fighters and things of that nature. So Bob Arum, he holds his fights in the bubble in Las Vegas. But if he chooses to go outside the bubble in Las Vegas, he can have fans in attendance, and it's still going to be a reach to be able to pay the purses that the fighters are looking for currently, because they still want to be paid as if fans are in attendance live. Okay, so with that said, Bob Arum, he wants to have it in Las Vegas where he can control the atmosphere. But if he moved it to Texas in these locations, then Bob Arum could have, could count on the fans attending and the fans' revenue, the live gates, and he could the closed circuits. He could work, he could depend on the concession stands and things of that nature to be able the blowback to be able to pay the fighters the purses that they're looking for. But in this case, there was a massive fight that could be take place for truly undisputed against undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney. But according to Teofimo Lopez, as he explained, that the IBF has informed him if he did proceed in trying to secure a fight with Devin Haney, they would indeed strip him of the title. So that makes no sense to fight Devin Haney if all the belts are not going to be on the line. The entire point of that, not to mention, not to dismiss the fact that they're both young, talented fighters that we would love to see eventually clash. But, if the belts are not going to be on the line, that's the storyline. It's undisputed, right? To clarify who is the true lightweight world champion, undisputed champion, and who's the best at 135, right? And this is the best way to get the clarification, to get Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez to meet up. That's what Teofimo Lopez, he stated that if everything didn't work out for the George Kambosos Jr. fight, then he would look to, secure a showdown, undisputed showdown with Devin Haney, right? So he leaves no doubt. That's what Teofimo Lopez stated. That's what Teofimo Lopez Sr., his father, manager, and trainer, also stated, that if indeed they could get a fight with Devin Haney, they much rather that fight. They wanted the George Kambosos fight in Australia because there was supposed to be reported venue that held 60,000 fans. Just like when Manny Pacquiao went over there and fought Jeff Horn, they believe that it's a venue that can have 60,000 fans in attendance, that can introduce his brand to a whole different demographic of fans, and grow his brand and grow his popularity and get more exposure going over to Australia with fans that may not know about Teofimo Lopez. But obviously, Australia shut down due to the global pandemic, due to social distancing. Fans can't attend live, so it makes no sense to go over there. George Kambosos himself has been training in Florida, preparing for this fight. So, the luster is just not the same. If I was George Kambosos, I would have petitioned the IBF personally and stated that, listen, could I get an exemption, right? Could we have, let him go ahead and fight Devin Haney. Let me fight on the undercard. Guarantee me I'll fight the winner of Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez, and then give it time for maybe things could open up where Australia would allow fans to attend, and then you could have the fight in your backyard with 60,000 screaming fans, and capitalize on it. George Kambosos could have fought Javier Fortuna, right? Javier Fortuna is the mandatory for Devin Haney for his WBC belt. he could afford Javier Fortuna in a big fight on the undercards, the co-main event, and Devin Haney Teofimo Lopez fight, and if you looking to how to be able to fit the bill for this magnitude of a card event, you have it in Texas, you understand, or have it in Florida where fans are. There's going to be 20,000 fans at the Super Bowl, so there's venues that will allow fans in attendance in Florida and in Texas. Stage it there, and then you'll be able to have the necessary kickback from the purses for the purses from the live gates to be able to fit the bill. So that would have made more sense for George Kambosos too, because now George Kambosos is going to fight in the bubble. His fans are not going to be privy to it. Maybe it's playing in Australia, but I believe they're like 13, 14 hours behind, or in front of us. So the hour difference, the time difference is going to be major. You in order for you to capitalize on it, George Kambosos should have been in agreement with Teofimo Lopez, go to the IBF and ask them, listen, could you give us some leeway? Let him have this fight. Guarantee me now George Kambosos Jr. would not be fighting just for the IBF, but he would legitimately be fighting for undisputed at that point in time. You understand? Against Teofimo Lopez. So, and then he would be able to, like, if Teofimo Lopez defeats Devin Haney, he stated he wanted to go to Australia, right? I'm sure Devin Haney wouldn't mind going to Australia. It's a whole different demographic. It's a whole different population that you're introducing your brand and yourself to. So it just makes the sense that, you go to Australia and George Kambosos is a superstar over there. But instead, they're going to have this fight in the bubble. So we have to see how this unfolds and plays out if they do indeed come to an agreement and get this fight over the hump. So let's see how everything unfolds and plays out. Bob Arum also stated, when it came to Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter, he was going to let that go to a purse bid. He wasn't willing to pay and guarantee Sean Porter more than $1 million with incentives on the back end. So he said he'll let that go to a purse bid. Let Al Heyman win. Al Heyman is the advisor and founder of the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, who Sean Porter is over there with, and they will have to fit the bill for it. So Bob Arum is not willing to come out of his pockets to pay any big amounts of money, point blank and period. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.